Hello and welcome to my vlog. I am Brian Foster, and today we're talking about the fact that we are dependent on each other, and what do higher spirits who come to earth to help us, what must they go through? I believe it is important for us to understand the difficulties that they have when they come to earth after being on a higher plane. But before I begin, please subscribe, hit the bell, and hit the like buttons. It will help the algorithm and help us spread Spiritism far and wide. Now let's begin. We aren't just placed on Earth in isolation, but to interact with other spirits and incarnates. We have no choice. Even if we lived on a deserted island, there would still be spirits around us, reading our thoughts and supplying us with inspiration. It is meant to be this way, for in this stage of our education we are expected to live amongst the influence of good, bad, and indifferent spirits and other humans. This concept is discussed in a translated communication titled The Life of Jesus. It was reportedly a communication from Spirit Jesus to a medium in France in the 19th century. The medium was only known as Medium X. The book was translated into Italian, then Spanish, then into English. It was not completed until a second medium took up the work in the 20th century. We are told in the About section, the original book was written in French and was later translated to Italian, and that version translated into Spanish. The Spanish translator was also a medium who received the dictation of the second part in the 20th century. His name was Ovidio Ribaldi, born in Paraguay, but lived in Buenos Aires. At first he was reluctant to translate this book into Spanish because he himself had lost faith in Jesus, believing him to be a myth. But a series of apparently unconnected occurrences happened, which made him change his mind, and he set forth on the difficult task of translating the book. It seems he was a very special person, and highly spiritual indeed, as he was then used by the light forces to transmit the second part Jesus had in mind. He is referred to in the book as Medium XX. I am not sure about the authenticity of the work, for usually I attempt to find some cross-reference with other Spiritist literature that vouches for the communication. I haven't found any other references to this material, although the central tenets of the messages conform to the Spiritist doctrine. One passage spoke about our dependency on others and its relation to the stage of the planet we live on. I found it fascinating and revealing. Here it is from chapter 12. The dependence of the spirits increases relative to the inferiority of the world they inhabit. And I add that, despite the spiritual light and intellectual strength of a spirit, it has to suffer more or less deplorably for the shadows cast on its ideal, and for the assaults on its convictions, in a world in which all religious beliefs are understood only through demonstrations relating to the past, future, present, and the honor of the spirit. The family of man consists of alliances without homogeneity and without enough collective strength to achieve its objective. These alliances become miserable tests for spirits honored with a previously achieved elevation in the moral and intellectual hierarchy. The concept that we all start out as ignorant spirits on a primitive planet, and then are promoted up to a planet of atonement, where we must pay for our past wrongs from past lives in order to learn the lessons we require where we live now. That we are more dependent on outside factors, such as other incarnates and discarnates, cultures, society, schools, friends, and family, is reasonable. I had just not thought about this aspect of the growth of a spirit before. It makes sense, for we easily detect the inordinate influence that children have on each other. When one child executes a new action, then the rest follow. What children see and hear around them causes them to act in a similar manner. As adulthood approaches, the effect of external stimuli lessens. Therefore, it must be the same for a young and immature spirit. In the second paragraph above, the difficulties of a spirit who has been sent to a planet like ours, who has lived with civilized souls in a community which follows the divine laws and adheres to the rules of love, peace, charity, and fraternity, are revealed. Imagine taking your adult self all the way back to first grade and being forced to interact with taunting, constant physical horseplay, and other infantile games. This is where we live. Elevated spirits must descend to our world and wonder what the heck they have gotten themselves into. Sane alone in an insane crowd, they must experience momentary bouts of self-doubt and thoughts of escape. Seek out those who are trying to teach sanity to a crazy world and listen. Hear the messages of love. Embrace the knowledge that we are on earth for a short time. We are living but one life in a sequence of many, that we are on earth for a reason, to help ourselves and others. Add your light to the dim flame of sanity and civilization, so more can be drawn to it. One day, when enough of us understand that we are immortal spirits with a plan, the world will become a better place. If you are interested in learning more about Spiritism, please read my book, Spiritism, Everything is Connected. Spiritism ties everything together. It reveals our purpose, our beginnings, our end goal, and the scope of the organization behind it all. Spiritism tells us there are no miracles, only phenomena that we don't yet understand. That miraculous healing, vision of spirits, near-death experiences, and glimpses of the future are all entirely possible given our place in the spirit realm. The spirit realm is dedicated to bring vital messages to us, not via organized religion, which had the tendency to withhold knowledge for their own gain, but to each individual so he or she could determine what path in life they would follow. We must each determine for ourselves whether we continue on to be mere consumers or to learn to balance our spiritual and material needs, so someday we may ascend up and out of the sphere of continual incarnations in a harsh learning environment to become a pure spirit and a contributor to the spirit universe. God bless.